So the big thing for me was that we chose you over Zombie Hedgehog because, quite frankly, I just happen to think you're the better streamer, right? I mean, isn't
Yeah, of
it, that's
course.
I feel like that we've been through this so many times that your show is just more perfect. Oh, I
Oh,
might have pushed us
whoops.
live a little bit. Anyways, welcome to the
Uh,
Making Awesome podcast, episode 188, with a special guest, Miss Pez Liz. Zombies in the chat too.
fail.
No, it was.
Actually, he's the one who
Or
fails
am I
because
zombie
he's not here.
hedgehog? Are
Yeah.
we all zombie hedgehog? All zombie hedgehog. K2 Kev's like pro stream. It's like we didn't plan that before I actually clicked live. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good evening
Hopefully not,
and good
maybe good
night.
evening.
It
Yes, exactly.
just depends on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Friggin' Mad Cat USA is awake. It's early for him. You tricksters. Oh yes, us darned kids. They say the
Yeah.
craziest things.
Oh,
Zombie member for
and
20 months. I like trains. I also like trains. Trains are pretty awesome. What is Zombie Hedgehog? It's a great question. I couldn't tell you. It is beyond my scientific understanding, but that's not
yeah,
what we're here to talk
for
about. We're
sure.
here talk with Miss Pez Liz. Liz, I need the Backstreet Boys from you before we get too deep into
Okay.
this.
I did rehearse
You
this.
rehearsed
So,
this. Great. Did you
yeah,
rehearse
yeah.
the
I've been
outro?
rehearsing. No, I didn't.
Okay,
So
well,
that'll be a surprise.
yeah,
That'll be
but
my
see,
element of
that's
surprise.
I literally
Yeah.
ask it for every person that we're with, but fine. Go ahead, Liz. What are the Backstreet Boys?
I am Pez Liz, Liz, whatever. You can call me Pez. Just, don't call me late for supper. I don't know.
Here for
Um,
that.
I'm actually like, I think I'm fully Canadian because I was born in Ontario, never let the machine win, same town as him. I was raised in Nova Scotia. I actually just got back from a trip to Nova Scotia and I live in Montreal. So like more East Coast, but I'm a Canadian. What I do, oh my goodness. Well, I I make I make content revolving around 3D printing. So I'm in my third year of 3D printing now. But what I do are several different things. I stream several days a week on my own Twitch channel, twitch.tv/pezliz. On Wednesdays, I have a show with Polymaker called In Printing Color. So on that, I talk about Polymaker's filaments, neat things that I'm working on, projects and ways that I'm using their materials. On Mondays, I have a weekly show with Zombie Hedgehog called Z and Z because he's American, I'm Canadian, I'm better. He's, zombie. And we talk about what's new in 3D printing, what projects we're working on, and we just kind of nerd out on all of that. And then the rest of the time, I talk a lot about my experience in 3D printing since I am fairly new, although now I guess I'm not as new. And yeah, what materials I'm using, what projects I'm working on, and what inspires me. And the rest of the time, I am part of this group project, the 24/7 Twitch stream Maker Deck, which is run by volunteers from all over the world. And people contribute from all over the world where they're sharing projects that they're working on. It is a lot of 3D printers, but we have all different types of making welcome. And yeah, I'm pretty much streaming on there 24/7 as well. I think that's it.
Now, how long have you been involved in the industry?
Roughly a decade. I volunteered for Buffer Festival, which is a YouTube film festival. Um, just prior to that, I had cut the cord and I was consuming a lot of YouTube content. And then I found out that there was going to be this film festival based on YouTube in Canada. And so I volunteered and I actually met Chris Perillo there. And he had started an event series called Vlogger Fair. And I volunteered to help with that. And I took over as I think I was program director for Vlogger Fair. So I did all the coordination with the YouTube celebrities. We did that for up until COVID. And then right after COVID, I believe it was Matt Stultz and Krusty organized to get Perillo into 3D printing with a Prusa Mini. And then eventually his involvement in 3D printing, I end up meeting people like Fix'em Dude and Krusty and all those people. And then MakerDeck started, and
Good people.
so
Good
yeah, I
people.
was able to use all of that experience with working with YouTubers and stuff and transfer that. And then in the last few years, ended up putting my face up on the screen too, which is weird from being behind the scenes.
And how many years have you had your own printers?
I guess
I think it's 3
it would
years,
be
right?
2 years in, it was February 22nd.
Okay.
2 years ago on February 22nd, Fix'em Dude and Krusty equipped me with the Focus, Odin 5.
Which
And
has been truly the most amazing 3D printer that you've ever used, correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it went out for adoption, and Numeric, I think he still uses, he was able to play around with it and use it.
I
And
like
then
that we put our printers up for adoption.
Yes. And then I ended up with my Prusa, my Soval, and then now the bamboos too. So
Fix'em Dude says sorry. There's nothing to be sorry
no,
about.
sorry, you got me started. He's apologizing to everyone else for getting me involved. That's what he's doing.
Maybe? Ooh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also forgot. Yeah, I was a beta tester for the Cocoa Press too. So that's another printer. It's in my kitchen.
Yeah, that's the printer that I haven't completed my order on yet. Because it's a very dangerous printer to own, you know. Not because it has any inherent dangers. It will make me massive. Like I will just print chalk. The other problem that I have is I'm fairly certain it won't work for me. Because like
temperatures.
It's 80 Fahrenheit in my office right now. I don't think the chocolate solidifies that high up, but I have cocoa cores because we are one of the farthest south people that Ellie knows. So I get sent just like random broken cocoa cores to see will they melt. And so far, none of the ones that we've gotten sent have ever melted, but it is an interesting machine.
And you can't freeze those or refrigerate them, because then the chocolate separates from the cocoa butter. Yeah, the palm oil. So yeah. So mine are in a cooler bag in a nice cool spot. But yeah, when I was testing out the Cocoa Press, I purposely had it here because I knew I wasn't going to eat my fails unless they were like failing right onto my hand or something, because it wasn't like a sanitary environment for me. So I have like a whole tray of sculptures, and then the rest I did end up, I didn't eat it. So it's in my kitchen now, and eventually I'll have my camera set up and do that. I'm going to do a little bit of a rebuild because I was a beta tester. So I'm going to work with Kim on getting everything all tuned up. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was
not for Zombie Hedgehog though.
Oh,
he helped me with the build.
Well, it was a cool project. I'm excited to build one at some point. But I told Ellie I'll build one when she comes on the podcast. Ellie keeps ducking me for podcast episodes.
And the neat thing about the Cocoa Press is that it still is evolving. Like I saw the one that was at Rocky Mountain that is actually made for industrial
the steel one,
use. Yeah. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to see that.
That was part of going to talk with Ellie. The other part was to make sure I wasn't going to get blindsided with snowballs, but that still happened anyways. And if you're wondering, wait, Ellie throws snowballs at Grant, there's a whole thing with this. It is a multi-year feud that we have at the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest, because it's the only place that we get together during the time of year where it actually snows. And Ellie assaulted me with a snowball. I mean, it's fine. I captured it all on camera. It was at the end of number 5, I think. Let me see. Which one would it have been on? Yeah, Rocky Mountain Rep 2024 video 5. would be the one where you can see that. And if you are a member, a Patreon supporter, or you're in our Discord, you have the extended cut because it wasn't just one snowball. But there is an extended cut of it, which is hilarious. And Tina says, really, palm oil in the cocoa press? Yes, it is sustainably sourced. It is not, it is ethically sourced. Like, it's Ellie.
That crew is on the ball.
Yeah,
they're on the snowball too when it comes to Grant's head.
They're on the
and face and whatever.
It was not. No, she the second one was supposed to. She wanted it to hit my face. I said no, you can't, because like if it gives me a black eye or something, I have to film the entire next day.
Great content.
Like if you want to hit me with a snowball, that's fine, but do not hit me with one in the face, because if it does mess up my face, I'm just gonna say that it was Amber's fault, and then Amber will kill me. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of cool printers going on right now. Now you're moving toward a bamboo household, right?
Well, I'm enjoying what they produce.
Mm-hmm.
I did mention earlier that my Prusa is kind of on the workshop shelf.
You broke it.
No, I didn't. I took it apart to like reconstruct it. Glendon sent me a Revo, and so I need to install the Revo. And yeah, I would like to sort of get it back into production. My Sovel's also kind of sitting there right now too.
I was gonna say, it looks like it's suffering from the flat surface law. It just has it has an advertisement on it. See, Zombie said,
yeah, but I have an X1 Carbon, a P1S, and the A1 Mini, which is my new favorite. I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful machine, and the nice thing about it is that I'm able to use like the scraps of and a lot of sample spools and everything. It's very easy to use on the AMS Lite. So I've been able to do a lot of my latest project is I'm making a lot of 3D printed earrings.
So you're wearing your own 3D printed earrings?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. This is someone else's design, but I have a couple designs that I worked on, and Pink 3DP. She's been working on a bunch of designs too, including the hex hearts that are in my background there. My camera angle isn't the greatest for the hearts, but
good. We need Hue Forge earrings. That would be super cool.
Layer by Layer is working on those. He's actually designed quite a few, and we're going to be talking soon. That's another neat thing. Working with Polymakers, they have these application ambassadors, and so they have people that are specialists in their field of 3D printing, and they give hour-long sort of tutorials on how they have mastered their part of the craft. So I think we're going to have a jewelry application set up really soon. Yeah, that'll be cool. And there's a lot of people that are like, it's so neat the way things are so quickly evolving. We're talking about Hue Forge, and this time last year we were just poking at it. I think Zombie and I did the first interview with Steve.
You guys
and
did,
we were we were so excited. And I've been creating all kinds of stuff based on my own photographs and everything. And I love seeing like what other people are doing. Cyanide Sugar, her stuff is amazing, where she's got like, she has like a knock your mic, Liz, pro streamer. She's got, I still have to print it. Actually, I think I should print that today, where she has the background of the Star Wars sky, and then the Millennium Falcon is actually 3D coming out of the Hue Forge. She's done some really cool stuff. Yeah, one of the things I love to do, and it's actually something that you're very good at doing, is featuring designers.
Oh,
you know, finding really cool things and sharing it. And we are very fortunate to know a lot of the designers and connect with them. But it's I always find it really interesting to find new people as well. And there's a lot of really interesting people in this space.
There absolutely are. And, you know, Liz, one of the things that I've appreciated is how you approach the subject of 3D printing, right? Like I've tuned into your streams. I've kind of watched, I've watched you learn along the way in this industry. And while you've been adjacent to it for about a decade, you've really only been hands-on for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's been more than 2 years. If it's only been 2 years, good Lord, you are
Well,
up
it feels
and
like a
coming.
decade sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. Like when you got to tear apart a printer to do maintenance, you're like, I'm too old for this. But I've always appreciated the way that you approach helping newbies. And it's something that I wanted to do an episode on because it's really important for us to embrace the newcomers in this industry. And no matter what printers they have, whether they like Bamboo, they like Prusa, they like Soval, whomever they like, it doesn't really matter. But how do we approach providing a welcoming environment that isn't just, toxic?
Yeah. I think 3D printing is I because when I was working with Perillo and other people, a lot of it was tech.
Right.
And there still is a lot of why are you helping with this person on this stream? Why are you getting a boyfriend? Like I've had people say weird things like that. In 3D printing, I was always
we don't need
empowered.
Significant others. We have plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's cats sometimes and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I found that in 3D printing, everyone said, these are some of the resources, but you can do it. And it was never like, you can't do it because of this. There's a couple people that sort of inspired me to take on that philosophy. One person said, remember, for most people, this is a hobby and you want them to enjoy their hobby. I was really lucky last year to have dinner with Chuck Hellebuck and talk about how, the reason he focuses on Enders, one of the reasons is because people still go to Micro Center or go on Amazon and they buy the cheapest printer possible.
Dude,
so
for
why not
$100, it's still a good deal. Yeah. It's a lot of effort, but for $100,
why not
it's still a great deal.
And why not learn how to use it? And the funny thing is, mostly because of MakerDeck, we have people, it's very easy to stream on a MakerDeck with the Bamboo. But it's not always easy to print, even though you have a fantastic printer. Doesn't matter what printer you have, you still have the 101. And I think that if you've invested $99 or you've invested $1,800, I really think it's important that you learn how to use the tools that you have and how to make beautiful things or the best practical, strongest, whatever things with what you have.
Yeah.
And I know in my stream, people are like, oh, you should get this, you should get that. And I'm like, I'm trying to work with what I have, even when it comes to like cameras and mics and things like that. Like,
oh, that's the worst as a streamer. It's like, yeah. I need to upgrade. It's like, oh, I don't want to upgrade. It's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. And I mean, I know how fortunate I am that I'm sponsored for a lot of my filament from Polymaker. Polymaker sponsors a show for me. So the materials aren't as much of a, that's one less burden. So, but I still remember when I started out and I bought those first super cheap spools of filament from Amazon and I clogged my nozzle with, some random silk filament because the first thing I gravitated to was this, this really pretty silk and so my big thing is learning how to work with what you have. And then if you've effed up, how to fix it.
Yep.
And we know it's a continuous process. There are people that get their printer and the first day they're like, okay, I have to clipperize this. I have to change this. I have to change that. I'm going to put, change the fans and do this. But there's also people that need to just start at the beginning. And that's, I like to encourage that.
Yeah, I've certainly had when it comes to Clipper, that humbling moment of, yep, I'm still an idiot. I'm still an idiot with things, and and even HughForge, and so during our interview with Steve at Rocky Mountain, he offered. I did not pose this to him at all. He posed the idea. As I asked if he wanted to come on a podcast and just kind of talk about what that transition was like from building this kind of product, getting that initial sponsorship with Polymaker, which I firmly believe was the impetus for that project skyrocketing the way that it did.
Yeah.
Right. It would have gotten to where it's at now, but I think it would have taken a lot longer had it not been for Polymaker assisting in that. But
So
Steve
it's
is
all
now
thanks to Zombie Hedgehog.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve is now full time doing this, and he said, "Well, we could also do a stream where I teach you how to use it." And I'm like, I don't know if you know what you're getting yourself into. I'm more than happy to do that stream. I am more than happy to have a humble stream where, I legitimately have no clue what I'm doing, and let's just work with somebody who does. And yeah, we're gonna see.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I
It's amazing though what some people are able to do with it. And yeah, there's a lot. And the really nice thing about this entire space, and you and I know because we became friends because of the Discords. We were both on Wexter's Discord and all of that. It's
I'm
still a
wearing a
small
Wexter
enough.
shirt today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just finished my Dark Jar Jar and
Honestly,
mixed berries
this
of all
shirt is
things.
so comfy.
Oh,
I need to check the tag to see what brand this is. Oh my gosh, you have a
of
pastel rainbow
course.
Jar Jar.
Bigger than my head. Yeah.
Well, is it bigger than your it's not bigger than my ego. Is it bigger than
No, no.
yours? That's the question. No, we're gonna do a full XL build plate Jar Jar.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
we're gonna
yes.
be working on
But yeah,
that.
we met, but it's still a small enough world. I mean, the events are still small enough. I
Yeah.
mean, they're getting bigger, but the events are still small enough. And the accessibility to people who are like the actual what's the term? Like they are the subject. Oh, what Zombie actually gave me that from
Subject
his
matter
workplace.
expert,
The
SME.
subject matter experts. Yeah. Well, he's like, yeah, someone tries the software once and they're the SME, but we do have immediate access to the subject matter experts. And I think
Yeah.
it's really neat what Polymaker is doing to foster that. That's just one example, but I mean, a whole bunch of other filament companies have hopped on with the TD1 and with HughForge. And I think it's really neat that we're small enough that the industry is still small enough that we're able to do that communication. And I know you and I are both connectors. Like that's
I
we
try to
love
be,
we
right?
love it. It's no, we
My
both love making connections for people and that's if there's anything like we may be useless on an everyday basis, but we can connect people. That's one thing with MakerDeck is if I see someone struggling with an ender, I know 10 people that have had this same problem or I just refer them all to Joe Mike because Joe Mike is fantastic. And I'm like, this person needs help with this. But there are people that are able to,
Yep.
like I said, it's the whole thing is
Come under
enjoying
my
this
wing and
hobby
learn.
and yeah, and make the best of, make the best of it.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting with my streams and with ZNZ is that I have a lot of females that are new to the space, and they might not know where, I don't know, not that they not know where the resources are, but it's really fun to do hands-on. Like someone said, I don't know how to do filament swaps in my whatever. So I actually went into the slicer and showed them how to do, color swaps. And just stuff like that. It's fun to be able to share that or say, okay, you got a problem with your ender? I think it's Bang Chuck in MakerDeck chat. I'm like, these are the videos you need to watch, or this is the website that you need to go to. And that's, I think, making those connections is one of the best things that you can do for a noob.
I would
one
say
thing
that
yeah.
if you're a content creator and you want to do a really useful series that'll be pretty evergreen, short form, how to do things in 3D printing slicers. Like, I'm not certain that I have the knowledge on how to do it properly. And I don't know if I really even understand short form content. Like I'm that's all still kind of a weird one to me. I say that as I have a button that saves a vertical format you and I the last 2 minutes of what we said, but then it goes to an editor and the editor deals with it. I
Yeah.
don't, but I've always thought that would be some great evergreen content. And we've done slicer videos that do pretty well, but like people will find our super slicer video from like 2 years ago and they're like, I don't see these options. I'm like, it's a 2-year-old video. I don't know what, like, the video doesn't auto update when the slicer updates.
Yeah, that's true. That's
That
one
is
of the
always the
problems
hard
where
part.
that's where everything's evolving. Yeah, and I know that someone requested to Zombie that he do something on wire management,
Hmm.
and how he, and of course he will not do that because that's not something he does.
What is
He just makes
cable
sure.
management?
Yeah, exactly. Cable management, wire, like how to run your, yeah, how to run all of that. But there are people that are very good at that. Like Digital Dragon, if you watch his streams, his builds are so clean. Obviously Steve and Modbot and some other people, like, I'm just like, okay. So and I think what's really neat for newbies is also you realize that a lot of this stuff, it is like osmosis.
Yeah,
I mean, there are things that
it
I
just
will watch a
happens.
stream. Yeah, I will watch a stream and I don't know exactly what they're building, but by the end of it, I sort of figure it out. And I think it's a really neat way to learn. And also you get to, like I said, we like to talk, we like to socialize, and you get to meet people in the community. Of course, we attend events too, and that's a big thing.
The events are fun, and man, this is where I'm like, I have a great CTA here, and I don't know if it's even like, all right, screw it, we're gonna do it. We took a 360 camera with us to Rocky Mountain. It was the first time. Well, like I've never owned a 360 camera before, but I found one for a good price and I bought it. We stuck it on top of our A camera for almost every interview. Now, I made a mistake. There's a shotgun microphone sitting right in front of it. So when you look at the forward, there's like this thing that pokes out. It is what it is. So I'm gonna have to obviously relocate the shotgun mic for the next time, but we did that deliberately so that people who can't go to events, because events are not cheap. A Rocky Mountain for
No.
us was like almost $2,000. Between tickets, hotels, a car. Now I could have made it less if I didn't stay out and do some extra filming while we were there, but it would have been like $300 less. It's just very, very expensive, right? And I said, all right, how can I make content that's more immersive for people? And we said, all right, it's 360, right? It's 360 content. So we are slowly releasing every single interview reasonably uncut in 360. There are some, like, I know the E3D interview I just can't release because there's a big section of things that I can't show you guys that we talked about, and I can't release that. And
Secrets.
exactly. And while I can
Wow.
edit down 360
You could
content,
release
the
it.
the
You
jump
could
is weird.
release it when it's been released.
We could, but I
Yeah.
just don't know.
I knew it first.
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess that's my video proof, right?
There.
The Bunker Shop says, I'm a noob with 4 bamboo lab and a thunder laser. I hope you're not running a business. But either way, 4 printers is not a newbie. Like, to be clear, if you have more than one machine, I don't classify you as a newbie anymore. You might be a newbie in terms of skills. And I think that's kind of where bamboo is a problem. Because if your experience is good, I have not had one. If your experience is good with a bamboo printer, you will not learn any maintenance whatsoever. And when it happens,
Because
you're going to be like, what am I going to do? Right? How am I going to solve this problem? Because I don't know how to do this. Whereas, like an ender, homie, you're learning to unclog a nozzle your first week, pretty much guaranteed. Right?
yeah.
And that's okay.
But you still have those 101 problems. Like there was this one person, there's one person that streams quite regularly on MakerDeck, and they have adhesion issues all the time. And I just want to take them and say, listen, you need
Stop
to
touching
really,
your bed.
really stop. Oh my goodness. There was one guy, I think he was trolling us. One day he like went in the middle of printing, he just starts like touching the build plate. Then he takes a like it looks like an entire bottle of nanopolymer, squirts it on the bed, and spreads it with his hands. And we were just like, no,
This is
please
why
stop.
you have adhesion issues.
Yeah. He is from Florida, so I mean that makes sense.
That makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
I wish there was a way that we could solve that. And it's been an issue that like I've discussed with our team ad nauseum. Like we've had multiple staff meetings about this of how do we solve the issue of people having these problems when they also don't know the terminology to search for. Like, okay, you have a clogged nozzle. That's a pretty easy terminology to search for. But, oh, my filament's not coming out. Well, okay, it could be your hob gears are damaged, your PTFE is damaged. I guess your hob gears could just be full of filament. You could have heat creep. What are some of the other problems? Your extruder wires could be messed up.
could be your filament.
Could be your filament. Could be your filament path is broken. Let's say you've worn through a Bowden tube. We've seen that with the bamboo printers. Because they print so much damn filament. You know, all of that.
Wrong print profile. Yeah, all kinds of things. Yeah.
None of those are clogged nozzle. But if you think it's a clogged nozzle and you start poking a freaking needle into it, you're potentially not
burning your
the
hand,
problem.
probably.
Well, okay, wait a minute. All right.
The first time. Oh, hey, the first time. If I had not. That's why I say.
Hey, it's just part of the deal. You got to get hazed to get into the mafia.
But
Something's wrong. Liz? Hold on. I cut your audio. They can't hear you. Give me just a second to bring you back in. Oh, your camera's off too. Oh no. Does Liz have to reboot? Hold on. I can fix this. And go to a one-man show for a little bit. Liz, are you okay? Oh no, Liz is gone. Oh wait, there's Liz. Hold on. It's a pro streamer kind of afternoon, isn't it, Liz? Yeah, Liz, you were laying down some fat beats over there. It was pretty good. And I'm like, quick, mute her audio. Oh, and you're still muted. There, now you're back.
I'm still okay. Am I back?
Now you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I have your mic muted when you come back in. It's a couple of pro streamers here. We know what we promise. We know what we're doing. We promise we know what we're doing.
No, you just go with the flow. That's the whole thing.
That's the thing with live streams, dude. You just roll with it. Rapping the praises of butter, according to Justin. Dance for us, Grant. Oh, okay. Does Tech Cheaper know that I used to be a dancer? Does
I don't know
that? If you've wanted to see me dance, when we did our Printed Solid tour 2022? Yeah, 2022. There's about a 2-second clip of B-roll of me dancing. Otherwise, I don't know if there's other dancing. If you were at Smurf at the after party, we danced there. I don't know if I've danced often on camera otherwise. But yeah. I before my back injury, I danced a lot. I danced last weekend, but it is tough. It is still tough.
You were kayaking yesterday, right?
Yeah. My body hurts. If
Tech Cheaper.
We will. So I brought cameras with us. There'll be underwater footage of that as well as 360 footage.
Oh, wow.
So unfortunately, the dive case arrives today. So it's a little bit late to do underwater 360, but you know. Yeah. And Justin Miller says member video has you dancing longer. Yeah. The entire dance, I think, is in the.
And that's the reason why Justin is a member, just for the dance videos.
Probably. It's either that or just a troll at our Discord at the $10 tier and higher, which a lot of people do. Liz.
I've never trolled Grant ever, ever,
No,
ever, ever. No,
no,
never.
no. Yeah. In fact, oh, there's so many stories about. I love how we're digressing over to dancing, but yes,
Well, yeah. The
Fix a
one thing
Dude
about
says dancing guys got to make a
yeah.
living somehow. Yeah, I go down to the Mons Venus and and throw it down. For those that don't know,
Well,
just
yeah.
Google that. Google what that is.
The one thing about attending events and stuff though is that this hobby has a lot of neurodiversity,
Oh
and you don't always understand some of the, like there's some inside jokes, there's a lot of like nuances and stuff. And I think a lot of the time meeting in person, it does. I mean, if you can make it to an event near you,
yeah. It's
there's someone that
awesome.
lived like 2 hours away from Rocky Mountain. They're like, oh, I didn't think anyone would. And I'm like, no, go, because it is that connecting, that does make it does make you realize that this is such a fun hobby. Like, look at Local Maker, what he's doing with the maker bricks.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing it for any other reason than he wanted to learn more about designing, and then it got to be like a very, very cool community activity, and it's him connecting with other people. And I think a lot of the time when you're printing in plastic and you're, whether you're doing something practical or you're doing like some, crazy dragon bust or whatever you're doing, you have to remember that it's human beings at the other end of the printer, and human beings, like some people in this chat are human beings.
Some of them are
So
hedgehogs that are
yeah,
undead. Um,
but
most everybody else, so they're mostly humans.
yeah.
Yeah, I was in this industry for a long time before I went to an event. I think it was ERF 2022. Yeah, it was probably ERF
That
2022.
was your first event?
Yeah, I think so.
So that was my first event. That was like the first event post-COVID.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, if that would I think so. I don't honestly remember. So
Okay.
I spent a lot of time. So I've been in this industry since 2008, but I've spent a lot of time on the light industrials. Like, I've been to Rapid, right? I've been Rapid. I've been to a couple of others. Those are big industry events.
Yeah.
People do not go there to make friends. It ends up happening because you go to the bars afterwards. And anyone that goes to shows has pretty much understood this, that if you're trying to build relationships, do not do it on the show floor. It is a waste of time. Unless you have a limited amount of time, do what you got to do, right? Work with what you got.
Yeah.
The best time to build those is after, at a bar, say, go to a company that you want to work with and say,
Hotel
I would
lobby.
love to talk with
Yeah.
you. Can I take you out to dinner? Can we just sit down, hang out? Hotel lobby if they've got one. And that's where the deals are made, right? That's where a lot of the stuff happens for us. And I look and I say, I wasn't a part of that, and it was a part of this industry that was missing for me. The amount of fun that these events carry is just insane. It is so much fun to get to know people, but it is a little odd, not gonna lie, when people come up and ask like how my back is doing. I'm like, I don't even know your name. So it's great, thank you for caring, but it's a little bit odd because I recognize that you know a lot about me and they know a lot about you,
Yeah.
Liz, but the opposite is not true. I know very little about a lot of our fans, and although Liz has the memory of a god. Liz, I bet I can give a name of anybody in this chat, and you know enough about them, and it is a scary amount of information.
It's funny. Sam Prentice messaged me and he said, I think it's for Open Sauce. He said, Nick told me this person from Polymaker is going to be helping me. Can you tell me about them? And I was like, oh, he works for a school board. He's married. He really likes printing in like Peak and those types of materials. He sent me this is Bob from California. I'm like, he's one of the sweetest people. Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, okay, good. I'm gonna kiss him on the lips when I meet him. Because it was just like I told his whole story.
Don't trust that man, because he said he was gonna dance with me, and we've been to a bunch of shows,
true.
and I never got my dance. So that's horse shit. I want my dance.
That's the fake Sam Prentice.
Yeah.
I still
Oh,
have more
that was
followers
probably
than
the
he does
fake
on
Sam
Twitter.
Prentice. I need
I
the.
still have more followers. I do have more followers on Twitter than he does. So
Well, you're cooler, so it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. But I did tell him to bring British candy. I said, if you're going to have people help you out, give them candy.
That is the win. Yeah, if you are traveling internationally to a show, bring
About the
local
treats,
sweets always. Like
local sweets and local filament.
the dumb. So like the dumb thing with like Americans traveling abroad is our sweets are nowhere near as good as theirs. But like
That's
I
true.
have some friends from Latvia that love American Oreos. Okay, that's no problem. That's easy. But every other American candy is pretty much terrible, and I don't disagree with that, right? Yeah, it's Oh, Fiction Dude says you also have more followers in real life. That's fair. You're cooler than Sam. You give better hugs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you look behind you for people following you. I'm like, what?
yeah.
The joke go right over my head most of the time. So what is some of that advice that you wish that you had as a first timer, like when you first started, that you find yourself making sure that you tell people often now?
Be very careful when you're receiving advice from people. That's one thing. Do your own, okay. Actually, not do your own research because that becomes a problem.
Yeah,
You are not, you, first of all, you may be an engineer. You may have like worked with CNCs and you may be like a professional something. You might be a doctor. Who knows? You know nothing. Going into this, you know nothing.
Yep.
You might know what PLA is, or you might not. So first of all, you know nothing. Be careful with how much information you receive from people. But if someone has the exact same printer as you and knows of the issues and stuff, listen to them, but it might not always work for you. Every single, as we know, every single printer is different, even if it's the exact same brand, same build plate, same nozzle, whatever. That's one thing. So find your own resources. One thing that I did, which was a huge favor for myself, is but I had the investment of I had the time to invest in like listening to podcasts and watching streams and stuff like that. But just be very observant. So like educate yourself, but learn where the resources are. Because if it's 3 a.m. and your print failed and it's for your grandma's 90th birthday,
Yep.
you're gonna want to know. Yes, you could go to MakerDeck and someone could probably help you. That's the beauty of 24/7. But learn that, okay, this YouTube channel has a lot of resources for that type of thing, or this website has a lot of that information. The other thing I really wish I had learned was and all that glitters is not gold, because when I'm still working with, I'm still trying to encourage every single filament company to come up with a really good starter pack, and not only a starter pack of filament, but education, because education is a huge part. So when I first started 3D printing, I went on Amazon, I bought filament that was
This
cheap.
is gold.
And yes, that's true.
Yeah, it's gold winter
but
glitter.
I bought I bought cheap filament. I bought 4 packs of, I don't even know what brand, from China, and I had so many problems. Silks are very attractive, but when it's your first time printing, I think a starter pack, and that's something that I'm going to advocate for. Also, I am so anti using silk for flexi.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Stuff.
Please
Yeah.
don't start with silks.
Like there are beautiful filaments that work much better for dragons and things. All of the Polymaker Starlights, the West 3D has the like all of their ambrosia filament is gorgeous. I mean, if you like Protopasta and Cookie CAD, and like, so yeah, in sort of educate yourself in that sense. But aside from that, yeah, humble yourself in a way. You really don't know anything until you've experienced those types of fails.
Yep.
And you are gonna fail, and just take a breather. Yes, there is crying in 3D printing, Fix and Dude. Don't lie. But also, yeah, I think And if someone has given you advice, for example, there's a lot of people that started 3D printing and you see they join these Facebook groups and they're buying models off of Etsy or buying STLs and stuff off of Etsy and stuff like that. Listen to what people have to say. And also, I think the other thing, one thing that I learned, but I wish other people would know is, look, Ma, I printed this. And they just post that on Twitter or they post that on Instagram. They haven't tagged the designer. They haven't talked about the filament they used. They haven't, there's no credits
people
at
know
all.
what you did.
Yeah. And let people know, and also have some respect for the designers. And also a great way, if you actually want to do something in this industry, is obviously don't over tag, but you could say, like, I use Polymakers mixed berries, or you could say this is a great model. Obviously tag the designer and say what it is and where you found it. But I think there's a lot of that, look, Ma, what I did. And a lot of the filament companies and 3D printing companies are super guilty of that. They'll grab someone's picture, maybe they tag them, but they don't give the credit. So give credit where credit's due, because a lot of these people are still, actually most people are still working from home, or some of these people, it is their hobby, but giving them some credit gives them, some extra downloads on printables or on Maker World, or gives them a little boost on things. And all of that, that's part of our little micro economy in 3D printing. That sort of the sharing and all of that. Sharing and giving proper attribution is really important.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I agree. We've got some good advice in the comments here. Tech Jeeper says, if Facebook taught me anything, it's to yell at newbies for asking questions. And then Fixum Dude says, designers do it for fun. They don't deserve respect. Those are both quality pieces of advice. Yeah. Avoid the Facebook groups. Just like straight up avoid the Facebook groups.
I'm sorry. I'm super excited. Like, I mean, I am a fangirl for a lot of these people, like James the Printer. I'm thrilled that James the Printer's here. I'm so excited. I mean, Fixum Dude, K2 Kevin,
these people never show
Wexter,
up for my streams, so this is because of you that they're here.
Yeah, James the Printer. I printed your caddy. I mean, James the Printer has so many really awesome models. He does both practical and like really cool, whimsical things. So it's anyway. There's my little fangirl moment.
K2 Kevin says, "I wonder who designed Jar Jar." Nobody. We all designed Jar Jar.
Yeah.
It only took us a few years of pestering to get it done.
It grew out of Pokon.
Yeah,
his wife might be expecting, but this was a new birth.
I'm just gonna cover the shirt that I'm wearing today.
Yes, this is Pex Pepper's hot sauce. That's someone who's partnered with 3D printing, which is really fun. This is the West 3 Delicious. This is like some of the most amazing hot sauce because it's
It was so funny in my interview with West 3D. I'm like, you guys do other things. He's like, we do? And I'm like, hot sauce. He's like, oh yeah, we have hot sauce. I've been there. Like, people ask me about like what I do, and I get it done. They're like, you also do YouTube? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a content creator. And no one cares about anything else that I do as soon as I say I'm a content creator. They're like, how many followers do you have? It's like, a couple. It's so weird to talk about like follower counts. It makes me very like self-conscious.
It's interesting because I was doing the YouTube thing for the longest time, like with the bloggers. And so we had for Blogger Fair, this is one thing that I learned, like one rule that Chris Perillo had and that I embraced was, it doesn't matter if you have 300 followers or 3 million followers. You're welcome to come to the event as long as you're willing to participate and contribute in one way or another. Yep. There was one couple that had less than 500 followers on YouTube, but they came to our event and they connected with a company, and now they make content for that company. So their YouTube channel, it's still like, mostly their friends and family, but they actually they're now their entire, husband, wife, and now they have 2 kids. Their entire content creation, editing, producing, and everything came from attending that event. And it's because we had everyone on an even level.
I
you
wish
know,
this industry
we
was
stopped
like that.
counting.
Yeah, I
I know.
really wish this industry was like that. Like, I remember, and it is seared into my head. When we reached out to Elegoo initially, because we had a project that would have been perfect to work with them on, we were sub 10K at the time. And their reply was, you don't have enough followers. Come back when you have a minimum of 10,000 and maybe we can talk. I'm like, F you guys. Like, just because I don't have a ton of followers doesn't mean that that doesn't translate into sales. It's not about, like, it's something that I think a lot of companies that don't deal directly in those communities, they look at it and say it's a numbers game. The 500,000 follower content creator is statistically more likely to get us more sales than the 50,000 follower content creator. And it sucks because it means as a small creator, you are all out of pocket to do this stuff, right? Like, for us to go to Rocky Mountain, I got a little bit of money from the show itself, and that's it. Every other bit of it was out of pocket. And it's because a lot of the companies right now that are sponsoring people are either they have their core group and that's all that they do, or they want a ton of followers. And it's like, well, how do you expect people to get there if you want us to spend, you know,
And
hundreds
that's
of
where
thousands of dollars?
and that's where you have to show your value and go after,
Yep.
as difficult as it is, going after like the smaller bits. And that's where I find that because we've been able to attend these events and we develop these relationships. For example, for my birthday stream this year, I didn't expect that. Like, I did a couple cold call us, and then people were offering things, and a lot of them were smaller companies. And what was really interesting is, for example, Polar Filament, they said they got a whole bunch of new followers to their Discord, and they got a whole bunch of new customers from my birthday stream. And I'm thinking, I was able to do that, but it's because we are still so small. And then people, it's that sort of discovery. So no, they don't have a huge budget, but it's that, I think those sorts of things, there's a little bit of there's a bit of a flow there. And then when a company is releasing something new, I suffer from one of the worst problems that some of these people do in 3D printing is I'm not in the US. So I have Canada problems.
Right. I was gonna say, is it the new shiny? But no,
No,
you have the sorry problem.
Yeah, it's being in another, to get things shipped to me.
Yep.
There's a lot of duty. There's a lot of, there's problems with that at times. But that's one of the reasons when going to the shows, like I have my first ERF, I think I returned home with like 30 spools of filament. You can fit 30 spools of filament in a carry-on, by the way.
Not that anyone's checked, but you can fit 30. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be checked. It'd be a carry-on.
Yeah, I did it in my carry-on because I was like, I am not, and I didn't have any problems. Then this time when I was coming back from Rocky Mountain, I had 2 spools of filament. I was being very conservative. And I had to explain at customs in Toronto what filament was. Thank goodness I had like a little
every time
basilisk and explain this came from that, that filament. But but Karen's here in chat and she said, that is something I struggle with. So if I do make it over the pond for an event, I'm bringing every single color of green filament
for Pokon
that I can for Pokon. Yeah.
I was planning on doing something, but our trip got changed. And so initially we were going to be leaving like 2 days later and coming back 2 days earlier. But we flew a budget airline that changed the dates on us. And then they changed a requirement, which was that your carry-on could be no more than 10 pounds. And at that point...
then you have to learn how to wear filament.
So that's what I figured out. So when I first went, I had a bag on me, and they didn't weigh the bag. On the way home, they tried to weigh the bag, and my camera bag weighs like 34 pounds, like when it's fully. So I just started putting things into pockets. And I said, so you care how much my bag weighs, but you don't care how much I weigh. And they said, yeah. I said, okay. Then I started putting stuff into my pockets. It's malicious compliance. So what we need is we need a trench coat, but instead of like, you know, hey kid, do you want to buy some Pokemon cards? It's, hey kid, you want to buy some filament? And it's a trench coat full of filament.
Yeah. Hear me out. Hear me out. Zombie Hedgehog will say, hear me out. Hear me out. We need someone to design this. And then he just says that. And then he just, anyway.
Just like,
kind of a joke.
Just says, throws it and drops it. So Karen says that, you know, that's impossible. She needs space for undies. Karen, that's what the holes in the filament are for. You can just roll it up and put it in between the... It's perfect. It's perfect. I see no way that this could go wrong.
Yeah.
Do note, for anyone that is traveling, traditionally, you should let security know that in your bag is filament. Often, filament can show up as det cord on x-ray machines. And if you have a bag with 30 rolls of what they think is a high explosive, they're not going to be very nice to you. So just be careful. Like, what show is it that we got a 2-kilo roll of Prushiment and we got stopped at security? I had a scanner, so it must have been ERF 2022.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it was 23. I don't know. It was one of the ERFs, I believe. And I'm like, you don't care about this thing, but you care about the roll of filament. They're like, yeah, it looks like it explodes. I'm like, do whatever you need to do, homie. It ain't...
That was the same event that Krusty got stuck with. He had metallic PLA and he had to explain to them, no, it's just a silk and it looks metallic.
It's just TPU. It's just TPU.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to explain that. But that's why I always have something 3D printed in my bag. Like,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
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 Normally my 3D printed stuff gets checked.
Who doesn't carry like a Fix 'em Dude Jeep in their purse? Like, come on. I thought that was something that we all do.
I normally have enough camera gear that there's something printed with my camera gear that I could use if I need to, but...
Oh, I have to use something fun.
I think we said his name 3 times. Did we say his name 3 times? We said Krusty's name 3 times and he's here.
Yeah.
Practical Printing is here.
He's looking for tacos, though. He is searching for tacos.
I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, I have the hot sauce and the hot sauce caddy. Thanks to James the Printer.
Hey, Amber, we should do tacos for dinner. There's no reason I'm saying that, but we should do tacos for dinner. Yeah. What did Krusty do now? Everything. Krusty, you sir have done everything and nothing at the same time.
Like I have these, like, my 2 dads in 3D printing are Fix 'em Dude and Krusty. And the nice thing, like I said, this still being a really a small enough space too, is that, and of course with any hobby, you do develop friendships. And,
the friends are the best part.
Yeah.
My dad always makes a joke about this. He's like, oh, you're going to go visit your internet friends? Like, yes, I'm going to go visit my internet friends. And it was Billy Rubin that said we shouldn't call them internet friends. It should be .comrades. And
that's a good one.
I think that's a lot more fun. But it is it is the favorite part for me when we're traveling, to not just meet like you and all the other people that I know, like that we've met at shows before, but it's all the new people that we've never met before, that want to come up and say hi, that do come up and say, please come up and say hi to us. Yes, we're busy. And if we're filming, wait till we've wrapped. But otherwise, come up and say hi. I still feel bad, and it's in the Positron interview. We were waiting for that Flycron printer to finish. We had like 5 minutes of burned footage waiting for the Flycron to finish, and as soon as it was done, there were a couple of kids, I think they were waiting to say hi to me, and I said, guys, I need you to back up real quick. We need to finish this interview before they start that damn printer again. Lo and behold, noise cancellation has gotten really, really good, and between the editing software, even in the 360 footage, it just goes away. So now I know for next time, it's annoying, but it does work. My dad is here. He says internet friends.
Aw.
Dad's got his episode coming up in a couple of weeks.
my mom actually got to experience this on Friday. So I was
Mhm.
in Nova Scotia doing some family things, but I reached out to some people that I knew lived in Nova Scotia. Matt Patnode, who's a designer, Patnode Prints, Donaire, who prints on MakerDeck, and Pico Boo, that's been involved in Polymaker and things like that. I knew at least three of them. So Donaire, who I didn't even know his first name until Friday, because I only knew him by his username.
Yep.
He works for a university, well, Dalhousie in Halifax, and I got to go into the maker space, but I took my mom with me. So not only did my mom get to meet some of my strangers from she's used to it. Like my sister met my brother-in-law like on ICQ or something. So,
Oh,
she's used
old
to
school
this.
ICQ. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So my mom's used to me bringing strangers over and meeting strangers and all this stuff. But she got to see, that was the first time she actually saw a 3D printer in person. She also she thought it was really neat that I knew like all the terminology, and I got really excited, and I was really upset that the resin in the makerspace was like not. I said resin is toxic. I did say it.
Resin is
My mother
toxic.
did not. Yeah, my mom kind of understood that because she watches my streams sometimes. But yeah, and it was really neat to show her not just the strangers from the internet, but also show her more of the hobby. And all of her friends, they loved like the 3D printed earrings that my two of my uncles, one of my uncles is 71, the other one's like 60 whatever, and like I gave them mimetics basilisks, and they thought it was
Nice.
like the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
Like it's so fun to share that with family. um Karen Chow is asking about Father's Day. It's my dad died this year, and so I kind of have like a funny story, but maybe not funny to some people. But one thing that people, I think I think one thing that might change in the next little while is we know that the funeral industry is a racket. Start designing your your urn, because urns are like a simple urn is $400. And so I think that maybe start designing pet urns, maybe,
I did
gradually go
that.
into that. But
Audrey too.
but
My outdoor
my
cat.
dad had a wish. And we knew this forever. It was actually written in it was written not on his will, but on some document, that when he died, he wanted his ashes to be thrown over Niagara Falls in a barrel. So we did look, it is considered a provincial park, so you are allowed to dispose of ashes, and also for family members and stuff to be part of it. We actually, it's on my phone, so it's hard to show. We 3D printed barrels. Whoops, I'm showing you the whole thing. We 3D printed barrels. So one of the things that we did when we were in Nova
Those are like
Scotia is
Donkey Kong barrels too. That's beautiful.
yeah, they're
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
super. Anyway, but that's what he wants. So in October, when we do his memorial in Niagara Falls, because that's where he was from, we're going to have one barrel go over the falls. So
Do they
yeah,
care that the barrels like not biodegradable?
I did very thin walls. We're careful, but
That
it
or
is,
just
yeah. So
printed out of
it's,
PVA
yeah, yeah.
or
So
like a water
yeah,
soluble filament. That's
yeah,
super
exactly.
cool. Like
Yeah.
I have to redo it
We did
because
check, we did check the law. We did check the
yeah,
law.
please
Like,
please
yeah.
do. Don't get arrested for that kind of stuff. Yeah, I so we had an outdoor cat. Her name was Audrey too. If you don't get the joke, it's not the second Audrey. The first one was eaten by a plant. You should know this by now. It's a Little Shop of Horrors reference. Which is funny when people don't know it's a Little Shop of Horrors reference, and they ask what happened to Audrey 1, and I say, oh, she got eaten by a massive plant. And they're like, what? I'm like, you suck. But when she passed, actually Audrey's Day is in October as well. I mark it in my calendar because every day, and I tell people when it happens, like we talk about it in an episode, and I let our Discord know, give your current pets a great little treat for Audrey's. That's what she would want. But I didn't find an urn that I liked. Like, it doesn't embody the animal. And thankfully, we have an awesome crematorium locally called Faithful Friends Pet Crematorium. I will give them free advertising because they are freaking amazing. They also do all their own laser engraving, so they'll laser
Mm-hmm.
engrave the urns. They have a Trotec laser, and they totally let you watch it. Um, so when I gave them one of my cards, said, "Oh, you have a laser too?" I'm like, two? Let's see what. Hold on, you're not getting away from me that easy. But they are so kind, and it was. I mean, it was tiny cat, so it was reasonably affordable. But yeah, huge props to them. But yeah, it's death is never an easy thing, and if you can make something to embody that person in a meaningful way, that's the right way to do it. We got so many requests when we were doing hardcore full color 3D printing, like lots and lots of full color. To not like I've done tons of urns for people, but they always ask if we can mix the ashes in with the powder because it's a powder printer.
Yeah.
I tell them, well, I mean, I can, but you're gonna have to pay for all of the powder. And the powder is $40 a pound, not a kilo, a pound. And the machine requires 110 pounds to operate. If you don't have 110 pounds in the machine, it will not run. So, if you want to spend $4,000, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But most people obviously don't want to do that. But yeah, I will say the one thing, please do not make an urn in the likeness of the individual. It is creepy. It's creepy. I'm sorry if you did that. It's creepy. Every time that we do it, I'm like, this is really freaking creepy. But hey, if it works, it works. We have got so far away from the actual topic.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it is what we do. I would say that my biggest tip for newbies is to just try. Obviously do research, but it's tough if you don't know the right lingo. If you don't know the right lingo, ask someone who clearly knows what they're doing. And I don't want just some keyboard warrior that thinks they know, that they're, fancy pants, whatever on Facebook. I don't care about that. I want someone like find a smaller content creator that is clearly doing really, really good quality work. Get into a Discord server with people that, know what they're doing and try there. And I think that, like, similarly to a sponsorship with a big company, I don't really know if I like sponsors from big companies, don't get me wrong, but the meaningful ones are the smaller companies that believe in you. So go to a smaller community that's going to believe in you rather than a big one that you're just a number, right? And that to me has way more value to it when you're trying to learn those initial first steps in the business and what it takes to get moving in this industry, because boy howdy, it can be frustrating as sin sometimes, and there's not much we can do about it unless you kind of take that extra effort to say, I need to figure this out.
And you can always ask for help. But also know that you're not going to get the solution.
No,
There's 16 different answers for every problem.
Yep.
But you have to figure it out yourself. And that's kind of the fun in it sometimes. But,
it's half the fun. Like, once you get past the initial stage of F this, I'm done, F it, we're done. Because like that happens.
And even the most experienced people, they'll slice something and like, why didn't it print properly? I'm like, oh my goodness, I was printing PLA as ABS.
PETG tabs or ABS tabs. Yep.
It's just like, and we all do it. We all do it.
Oh, we all do it.
Spool properly. You don't, all kinds of things can happen. And it's just part of it. It is. You just have to know when, there's also a certain point where you have to know to unload enough that everything's safe and turn off the printer and just take a break.
Yep.
Go get some fresh air or something.
Go get some ice cream,
Yeah.
Little sweet treat, whatever does it for you. Yeah. Zombie Hedgehog with the banana, $1.49. Banana for scale. Those are important. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. F3DPF says, I just had brain surgery and had just started my print farm of 7 machines so far. Saying, I started last year with 1 machine. Now I have 7. I picked up a commercial license from STL Flicks. I hope you're charging enough. That's all that I say is I hope you're charging enough. I could literally have a weekly podcast on you're not charging enough and people still would not charge enough.
Yeah.
Please charge appropriately for your time. Like the individual that reached out to me, I'm going to call them out a little bit. I'm not going to use their name, but they reached out to have us do production printing for them. They're making a part. It's a small part, maybe about 3-4 inches wide, 5 inches wide, maybe. For the gentleman, that's at least 9 inches across, and maybe 2 or 3 inches tall. Relatively small part, right? Not all that big. They said, yeah, my local guy is swamped. He's doing like 200 of these for, a month for us, and I need like 600. I said, okay. My price is $2 a piece. At volume, it's $2 a piece. Well, my local guy's doing it for 50 cents. I said, well, that's why he's not able to do more for you. He's not charging you enough. It's like, well, if you can't match his price, I'm going to go somewhere else. I said, okay, see ya. And the response was like, you're not going to try? I'm like, no, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try because I'm not going to discount myself. What is that? 75% almost? Right?
And remember, when you do that, you also undervalue all the other people that are trying to do the same thing, even if they're not in the same area as you.
It's 25 cents in filament. It's 25 cents in filament to do it. And yes, I'm taking 25 cents of filament and turning it into $2 at volume because I can. And there'll be someone who is more than willing to do it for 50 cents that will run themselves into the ground and burn out. And like, please, 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 if you're going to do this as a business, do not just try to be the cheapest person on the block. You are going to devalue everybody's time, effort, and energy. Straight up.
Yeah. And ask any of these designers, people who you see, they've got zero, they followed 0 people. They have a level 1 on printables or on whatever platform. And they always slide in someone's DM and they say, oh, do you think you could design like this? Well, I know Fix 'em do tell that. I think you should do this vehicle. It's great, but
I'll pay you an exposure.
He has a club for a reason, and support the designers.
Yep.
Even the at-home designers that do like practical prints or they do super cool things. But like, and also, like we said, give them credit, but like, don't go to them like this. Appreciate. And the other thing that's really interesting, everyone's always looking for the latest, the newest, the shiniest, whatever. I actually kind of learned from Zombie Hedgehog. I did it myself too. Like sometimes what I'll do is, and it's something that I was criticized for at times, is I will like hyperfixate on a designer. I will print like a whole bunch of things from their library because I'm just like, I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
Like, James the Printer's got really cool stuff. So I'm going to print a whole bunch of James the Printer stuff. Or this is my week that I'm going to do a whole bunch of Wexter thing. I've got to catch up on minis or whatever it is. But go to their back catalog.
Yep.
Because
look at the older stuff.
They have Zombie did Fix 'em Dude's hamburger, his flexi hamburger, and he did it in jumbo. I don't know what % size, but he did it in jumbo size. And it was like one of the highlights at Rocky Mountain. It was the coolest thing. And it was also really fun to like choose the colors and do all that sort of stuff. And that is, people have been designing for years and their designs are cool for a reason.
Old designs are good designs, man.
Yeah.
So
like Bugman's got the most amazing Easter eggs and Halloween things, and like any fandom you can imagine, there's people have made things, and built overbought, but us designers do only one file.
That's true. That's true. So F3PF actually replied saying they charge $1 per hour plus material cost. You are not charging enough. You're not even close to charging enough. If you did $1 an hour plus material cost, you could hit 50 cents on that project because it was a half-hour print to get it done on a bamboo. So
if Daddy Wazzy was here, he'd be scolding you in chat.
Oh no, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'm going to do it right now. I want you to go at a minimum $5 an hour. I want you to 5x your per hour price. And if you lose even half of your customers and everybody else pays the premium, you have netted way more money. And obviously you can't do that to current customers. You're going to have to let them know there's going to be a price increase that occurs at a certain date. Let them decide what they want to do. But $1 an hour plus cost is you're not just not making money, you're losing money. You are devaluing your own time. While I recognize that machine time can come very cheap, right? Most people's power is 14 to 18 cents kilowatt hour, unless you're cool and you live where you have hydropower up in Canada, and you get cheap power. But I don't have to pay import duties, so I'll pay more on power. Um,
Yeah.
but like, let's say it's a 1 hour print and it's going to cost you 500 watt hours to do it, which is not unreasonable, right? It's not. It's a little high, but it's not unreasonable. So you're spending 7 cents on electricity. 7 cents on electricity. Like, that's where pennies really start to matter. Yeah, you're as you say, well, I was trying to get my name out there, but I see your point. Get your name out there as a premium provider who has high-end customer service. Because, look, anybody can
Yeah.
undercut you. Anybody can undercut you. Don't be the person that says, well, I'm just trying to get my name out there. I understand that, but people are going to get used to you being cheap. And as soon as you get expensive, they're just going to go to the next cheap person. If someone only cares about price, they're not for you. You want to find the person that understands the value that you are providing, whether it is your expertise, your customer service, your turnaround time, whatever that is. Like, dude, the newbies that want to get into a business, please, for the love of God, do not devalue yourself, because you are going to burn out. You're going to burn out faster than
And that
like
and
Chip
that
Foose.
goes yeah, and that goes with for friends and family too, because
Yep.
they want to support you and they want to help you, and you can only do so many things for free. Listen, if it's an experiment or something.
Yep.
It's interesting. Bear 3D says, I've been wondering if I should delete my old designs.
Nah.
No. What you should do is take those old designs
Redo them.
and improve them, redo
Yep.
them. Everything
Redo
old
them.
is new again.
Not
Everything
only
old is new
redo
again.
them, but remix them so that
Yeah.
people can see that there's been a remix, and you say, hey, I redid this design. Here's the new one. Here's how I've gotten better. That would be a really cool video. Like, I'm gonna call out Fix'em Dude, because like he's basically a content creator at this point. But Bear 3D Tech, fine. If you want to do a video on this too, I would love to see like designers like Fotis
Fix'em
and
Dude
Wexter
actually does go back.
and
His Fix'em Dude's Flexi Monkey,
Mhm.
he actually went back, changed a whole bunch of things, and then he didn't republish it as something new, but he changed, he changed the file. So he does do that. He's like, I'm very fortunate that I know a couple people that are perfectionists, so you'll actually never notice that something's changed, but they will go through and change it.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Justin Miller has a good point. I don't know if you learned that from me, because it's kind of the same thing that I do. He said, I don't care if I print it on my Bamboo or my Magneto. I'm still going to quote as it's being printed on a Mark 3S. Yeah, and a Mark 3S at stock speeds. Because, like, War Runner Mark 3S is like 3 or 4x stock speeds, and they run just fine. But if I have produced process implementation that has brought the time to produce something to be lower, I should not be losing money because of that. I should be gaining profit because of that. So I do. Fix'em Dude says, now I have to make a video. Great. Yes, you do, sir. And in fact, you should make that video, and then you should come on this podcast and talk about it. You're
He has
here,
to
so
find
I'm
time
calling you out.
between vehicles, and this is something that's super cool. And this is where community came into play with Fix'em Dude. Toys for Tots.
Yep.
We have there's a lot of really cool models on Toys for Tots, but we love Fix'em Dude's vehicles.
Yep.
And I know that ChemNerd and a couple other people, they lobbied IC3D really hard to have some Fix'em Dude models as part of Toys for Tots, because we love printing them. I have dozens, and well, actually I've printed two of almost every single vehicle, at least two of every single vehicle. I love them. I'm a super fan of Fix'em Dude. And I'm not afraid to admit that. He's also there's a few people, I always say they're the nicest people on the planet. One of them is Fix'em Dude, one of them is Wexter. I think we both agree on that. There's other people that are different versions of, Fix'em Dude said ChemNerd lobby hard, but we really wanted that, not just because it's Fix'em Dude's models, but because they're such good models, and we know that they can withstand everything except for apparently 3-year-old French children. But his vehicles are premium, and they're also super easy to print, because these are, this is obviously jumbo sized, but it's print in place.
Yep.
So it's super easy. So we're very
Yes.
proud that now that's part of Toys for Tots, the 3D printed Toys for Tots, which of course is an organization, Toys for Tots. It's in its like 78th year. So you're gifting to a legitimate organization, and this is not the only thing a kid's of course this could be the only thing, but this is part of what kids are going to get for the holidays.
Yep.
But I think it's really neat that it's, someone that we know, and we know that the models can stand the test of time. And Krusty's crush test. So Krusty does a crush test on every single Fix and Dude model.
Mm-hmm.
With his flip-flop, and he probably sends a picture to Gran.
He does, but he knows
in the middle of his stream.
I'm here for that. Yeah, he has done that. He used to call me. He doesn't call me anymore. He used to prank call me.
He's so busy.
I know,
so
but
busy.
That's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah.
Krusty, you missed it. I was building a Prusa Mark IV on stream. My internet got so bad I'm gonna have to disassemble the Mark IV back in the box and start over again. So cool.
There's a good question here. You guys have a Discord?
We do. It
Yes.
is available
There's
at $10
several
tier and higher.
Yeah, there's several Discords that you can find us hunting. For sure.
My phone's ringing.
Oh, of course.
My phone's ringing. Hello? Who is this? Oh, he just hangs up. It was Krusty. I put it on.
I'm surprised he
hasn't.
hasn't. Did he text me? He didn't text or call me, so
he just.
I don't feel special.
Great.
Wow. Thanks, Krusty.
So I want to talk about this with you. We had somebody email us about the Discord, and they brought up some really good points. So they asked why we pay gated the Discord. So it's you have to pay $10 to get in, right? And I said, well, you're limiting the size of your community, and I don't really have any money to give to it. I said, well, it's not about the money for me. It's about validating that people are going to be there and participate. And yes, that means we do have a smaller community, but it means we have a really awesome community of people that like to hang out. And I say, you know what, for $10, if that's just the toll to get in, sometimes you got to pay the troll toll, and $10 does keep a lot of the trolls out. So I don't know. I like, after talking with that person who I haven't seen them in the chat today, but they're often in the chat. I've been questioning, is charging for the Discord a bad move? Like, have I been making a bad business decision? Because like I've been effectively gating our community from growing faster. But I've also kept out more problems, like from the haters from when we did all the deep dive into bamboo. So like there are positives and negatives there. Like the amount of BS I would have had to deal with in the bamboo days, my God, that would have been terrible.
I don't have a Discord. I don't have a Discord because it would be irresponsible of me. I have fantastic moderators on Twitch. I have great friends that are there to support me, but to manage a Discord, I think
a lot of work.
It would be a disservice. So what we've actually done, Tech Jeeper is one of the people that's helping coordinate it, is if you're smaller or you're growing as a creator, you can actually have your own channel on MakerDeck, for example. And so that's where all of my stuff is hosted. I do not want to manage. I already help manage the MakerDeck Discord. So that's the channel where I'm on. I get so many invitations to Discords, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It's too, like, sometimes it can be too much. And even I get notification, and you can turn everything off and whatever, but sometimes I get notifications from Discords. I'm like, oh, I forgot that I belong to that. But that's one thing that I'm talking about, like, as a smaller content creator or whatever, you have to see the value. If you're a designer, and of course Discord is connected to your printables or your things, and that's where you actually, again, there is a paywall there, but there's a reason, because these are people that care enough to contribute in whatever way possible.
I spend like 8 to 10 hours a week minimum on camera in our Discord, just hanging out. And like
Yeah.
the amount of one-on-one attention that I give to people in there, like, you know, it's probably the cheapest advice you can get for $10, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I will say, like, that individual, I they haven't joined, but I sent them an invite. I said, you know what? You make it. That's a damn good point, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sit here and argue it because I can't. Your point is really valid,
But
and it's
then
like,
they've
man,
shown that they want to contribute and they can bring value. But if it's just someone that's joining for the sake of
yeah,
harassing you or getting some free advice or whatever else, you have to, like, this is the thing. If you want to be, if you want to be included, you actually have to participate in the community.
right.
And it doesn't mean that you don't have to have your face in Hangouts. You don't
No,
have to,
it's fun if you do though.
there's one person on MakerDeck that every single day they wish people a happy birthday, and they also help, like, they don't have any role, but they tell someone if they ask something in general, oh, maybe you should send that over to tech support.
Yep.
And those are the people. I mean, we were just talking earlier about Mad Cat. Mad Cat now works with you,
Yep.
but he's someone that was part of your community, and
He
he
started.
showed his value.
Yeah,
He showed his value.
literally. So like,
And
I went to our Discord and said, hey, this is what we're hiring for. It's all remote. I don't give a damn where you all live. But if you have the skill set, let me know. And Mad Cat's like, I think I could do this. I said, here's a test. Give it a shot.
yeah,
And turns
exactly.
out he's a really good technical writer. Now, and we were talking about this before the show, I'm delinquent in actually reading the stuff that he's done. So none of it's gone public yet. But like, we pay him to be a technical writer. And that money is probably all being spent on 3D printing stuff at the moment. But hey, that's okay. And while it does say that it is $10 a month, I don't really care if you stop paying. It's not, look, I'm not going to say no to the money. It absolutely helps us make sure that we can pay our people real livable wages. But at the same time, I don't know. The gate makes sense, but like PC Evangelist says, like, you know, my income doesn't allow me to spend money on subscriptions. And I get that. And I know, and like, those are the situations where it sucks. PC Evangelist, email me, I'll get you a link. Right? Like, that's the kind of stuff where it's like, maybe they could be such a really valuable source in that community, but they don't have like they just, yeah. You know, maybe there's a financial thing. It's like, it's not ever about the money for me. It's about just making sure that our community is awesome. Speaking of awesome, NT.
Nathan.
What's NT?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't what's NT for currency? 75 NT is that
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Nathan's awesome.
Yeah. It says for staying in the Discord. Dude. Thanks.
I do remember another piece of advice for noobs. And it sort of goes back to what I was.
Oh, it's Taiwan.
Hi, Polymaker. Hi, Polymaker. Polymaker. One thing I want to strongly encourage to people is, yes, there are lots of shiny new things out there. Yes, there's a new printer, there's a new nozzle, there's a new whatever. Sometimes you just have to sit back and observe and think about, that's really cool. I'm happy that that person's testing it out. There's a lot of people that feel the need, and I see them on Twitter and I see them and they're like, oh, I really wish I had this. I wish I had that. But one thing they don't realize is these people that are, whether they're content creator or they're a product reviewer or whatever they're doing, or they are beta testers, they have sort of earned their way and they've networked. And this is we are all on an even playing field on the internet, because it's just the amount of time and the connection. You can make all these connections from your own, office, from your own bedroom, wherever you are.
It's so cool.
But don't think that you have to have the newest shiny thing. And that goes back to what I said, like the whole Chuck Hellebuck, his philosophy and stuff. Work with what you have. And I mean, I've seen people that have, the basic ender, and they've done gradual modification, vacation.
Nope. Liz, Liz crashed again. Simon's.
It's
uh,
usually Brant.
your audio's
I'll be
back.
back. My audio's here, so I will start video. See if there.
Simon Snow with the 5 memberships. Thank you.
I think it's Brant's internet doing it. I think it's Florida.
No,
Being,
I've only dropped
yeah.
1,100 frames so far in this, so we're okay. But Simon Snow with the 5 gifted memberships. Fixum Dude got one. PC Vandals got one. Justin Miller got one. Local Maker
wow.
MI got one. And Tech Jeeper got one. Thank you, Simon Snow.
Awesome.
Duff, you didn't get one. Duff always gets gifted memberships. It's hilarious. Duff has been a member for like 3 or 4 months now. I don't think Duff has ever used YouTube memberships. It's just always
That's
funny.
funny.
So all of you that just got memberships, there's a bunch of content coming out in the next 30 days. So Simon Snow just gave you some really cool sneak peeks
Nice.
into all the behind the scenes content that's coming out.
Duff's hasn't expired yet.
Mine hasn't expired
Because it was American currency and he's Canadian, so you know.
Oh well, yeah, that means it goes longer, right? I think that's how that works.
Yeah. Sure.
But yes, thank you to all of you that do contribute to the streams. It is like, and we've talked about it, right? The idea of like even giving $1 to your favorite streamer is way more than your views are worth. It is so helpful, and being a part of that community can be amazing, right? Like, go join Discords. Who's got really good Discords? Who have I been hanging out in? Wexter's got a great freaking Discord. Like Wexter,
Polymakers is very strong and growing.
It's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Dude, if I am ever like up in the middle of the night and I just want to hang out with people and I know our Aussie fans are out working for the day, I go hang out in Polymakers. Like, there's like 15 people. It is 4 o'clock in the morning.
And of course, MakerDeck is 24/7 on Twitch.
Yep.
And there's always people in chat. Yep. And there's super helpful people if you're struggling with something or you just want to talk. Mm-hmm. That's just the way we are. Yeah, and I know we're on YouTube right now, but Twitch is also a really growing place for live streams for 3D printing content. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously follow me. Follow Zombie Hedgehog. There's a whole bunch of people, and you'll see them in chat, and we're all fairly pretty friendly to each other. Yep. And yeah, and you just kind of learn as you go along. But one thing I will say is the comment is I feel alone because there's not a lot of people in my area. You never know. So one thing I did on MakerDeck is I started these sort of regional hubs, and like I said, on Friday I met up with 3 people. But that's 3 people that had never met each other before. Yep. And 3 people that have now connected. And I'm really guilty because I haven't done it in Montreal yet. And so I need to do a Montreal Maker Meetup. But if you build it, people will come. So you don't need to have a Rep Rap festival in your backyard in order to meet with other makers. I joined the Women in 3D Printing Montreal group, and which was really fascinating for me because they're all like hyper additive manufacturing people. So they don't know this side of 3D printing. So I was able to sort of share. They didn't know that filament came in colors. Like some of them, like they work in a
AM
lab,
people's like it's the Henry Ford filament. Yeah. It's black and only black.
Yeah. So like for a lot of them, the second that they saw my backdrop, they were like, "Oh my goodness,
wait,
you have so many colors."
Yeah.
And so then I even taught them about printables and about things and Maker World. Like it was really interesting. But yeah, don't hesitate to network, but also, you know, don't be afraid. Okay, one thing that I learned, I actually helped create a Montreal YouTube community, which blossomed into something different too. But we started meeting at a pizza shop the 3rd Thursday of every month. Mm-hmm. So you could say, and if you have a local maker space, even better. But you can there are people around you, and it's a great way to, you know, share filament. I mean, for me, I get really excited because I can share some of my protopasta because I get it from an event or whatever it is. I mean, every single person that went to the thing in Halifax, they got, of course, a spool of silk Pezriwinkle. I did bring,
Nice.
my silk Pezriwinkle, but it's easy. It's easy to think that there's nobody else, but you'd be surprised. And there are local maker spaces. There are 3D printing companies or
Yep.
filament companies, and just reach out. And if you're the only
Always.
person there, okay, you're the only person there.
That's okay.
But you're guaranteed to not regret something that you
Yep.
yeah, you won't regret something that you did.
Speaking of,
But you will regret something you didn't do.
I miss Spurlock gifted 10 memberships. Burton North,
Wow.
Elizabeth Neiman, Nick T, Ken E, Eric Cedarberg, Brandon Matrix Tech, Sneagle? Sure. Trogdor 4, and my Auto Essentials. Grant's Auto Essentials got gifted membership.
Awesome.
Thank you. And then Nathan, member basic support for 1 month. Thank you all very much for that. It is incredibly appreciative. It is it is a big deal. Thank you for your support. And in fact, where do you say it? Spurluck said, yeah, Grant's Discord is how I made my way to volunteer at Rocky Mountain and met so many cool people. Like, yeah, it's kind of the nice thing about having a smaller community. Yeah, if you want to get into a big freaking community, it's Polymaker Discord. It's freaking massive. But they are a lot of fun.
And Polymaker is incredibly enthusiastic about projects.
They are.
One thing Polymaker does not do, they might look at your numbers, but they don't
care.
They love projects.
Yep.
Nick is absolutely fantastic. Sean is of course just getting started, and then all the people that help out. There's so many opportunities to be involved and get involved, and I mean I know I'm so lucky to have been there from almost the beginning. I actually found out, I think I was on their Discord within the first little bit of them starting it, and it's been fun to see the way that they have the way they do things. And I think that the way that Polymaker does business with people in the community has inspired other companies to think differently too. And I think that's really important because so for example, I know that Daddy Wazzy just worked with Protopasta on a STEM event, and they don't always have the resources or the time.
Protopasta's not a big company.
Yeah, and he printed a couple hundred things to go to a STEM event.
Yep.
And participate in the STEM event. And that's, putting yourself out there and doing something. People that do the Toys for Tots. I think it's fantastic. There's different ways that you can get involved, and it's not just online, but online is fine too.
Yeah, I would think like the best piece of advice that I could give to a newbie is show up. I don't care if it's in person, online, wherever. Freaking show up. Because becoming a part of something that is bigger than you is so freaking cool, man. It is so freaking cool. If you're in Discords and people are hanging out in voice, freaking hop in. You don't gotta just go in and start talking a bunch. You can go in, you can lurk for a little bit, listen to what's going on. If you got something to add it. You got a camera, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Like, there are people in our Discord that hang out all the time. I've never seen their face. I consider them friends. I have no clue what they look like. Then there are people like Yusuf. Yusuf here in the chat. He goes by Man of the Sky in our Discord. He's a commercial airline pilot. The man's in Barcelona right now. And, like, will take us on tours of the areas, and he'll send us photos of, like, he sent us a photo of the Eiffel Tower because he was flying by it.
Wow.
That kind of stuff is just super freaking cool. And Duff said, what are you eating? That's the joke, because him and Amber are almost always snacking when they're in the Discord. So we're like, hey, what are you eating? And he's always eating something cool. Is there
Wexter's
a reason?
Discord, there's send foods.
Oh,
if you
do not
send your plate, Wexter will be very disappointed.
It's true.
So if you are eating somewhere and doing something cool, he wants to see it. But yeah, and then that's what they're saying. Sporluck says it's not always just about 3D printing on the Discord. Sometimes you get other tech advice or even life help. And I think that's actually something that like we said, most of us are humans, like I said. But we've got people that are recovering alcoholics, people that are going through cancer treatment.
Yep.
I mean, if I didn't have some of my friends on Discord the day my dad died, like it was like, the worst day imaginable. And obviously I can't be talking to my mom or my sister. We're trying to, pack up and stuff. I was running around my apartment trying to pack, but I was on a Discord call with people that like my friends, all of them I knew from 3D printing, and they were helping me like just do the logistics of packing a suitcase. But and people, we've had people have, all sorts of things happen, and people reach out, and it does, the human element has kept me in the hobby. There are days when I turn off my printers and I don't want to see another thing. But then you'll go into a hangout and, Wex is sculpting something.
That's how I saw Jar Jar for the first time. Yeah.
Or someone has like a basic 3D printing problem and you help them out. It's all about that sort of ebb and flow. But yeah, we are humans, and
it's the best.
It's
the best. Like, I have this shirt because when at Smurf, Wexter was going to Smurf, and he just like put a Google Drive link for us, and it's like, what shirts do you want? I'm like, oh, I want a couple of shirts. I try to hand this man money, and he said no. He said, because I want some of your shirts. I said, well, you didn't tell me that. I didn't bring any shirts for anybody else. He said, I'll give you my address. You can ship them. I said, all right. That'll help me. That'll help me test my international stuff that we're doing for our
There you
merch.
go. Yeah.
I said, you know what? Great. And I got to meet Karen. I got to meet Pokon.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Oh, she was awesome. She was awesome, and her kids were honestly way more well behaved than I was expecting children to be at a 3D printing convention. So that was pretty great. Yusuf said he wanted to see you shirtless, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's Wexter. It doesn't surprise me. The video of Wexter when I interview him at Smurf, watch the last frame of the video. Like, it's like the last 15 frames of the video is me spanking Wexter.
There was consent, though.
Absolutely, there was complete consent.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always the joke. Also, like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. Got like 66 people here hanging out. 42
where's
likes.
where's all the thumbs up? I'm gonna refresh, and when I refresh, if there are not more likes, then I'm gonna be.
Wait, we can leave the likes the same way, but we need 3 more viewers. If we can get to 69 viewers and 42 likes, I think I'm okay with that too. That is also acceptable. The likes went up and the views went down. So
I wonder if I did send the link out to some of my mom's friends. So
yeah.
Hi.
This is the one you want your mom's friends to see with me. Not one where you're
they sometimes go. My sister will watch the and she's like, you guys started talking about some really technical stuff, so I just kept you. I'm like, yes, it's called lurking. You're allowed to you're more than welcome to do that.
Yep.
But
oh, it's funny when people gift memberships. I'm like, oh, Eric's here. I haven't seen him comment. Hi, Eric. Yeah. And of course, Yusuf and Amber always ask each other, what are you eating? So Amber just replied saying, nothing, I'm waiting for Grant, because Amber's here. Yeah, it's...
your cat turned into a spool of filament.
Yeah, well, that's why... So, because Amber's here, the cat's not in here. Normally, the cat would be in here, but when Amber's here, the cat...
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Victoria
I know Amber and I know Grant.
Human, and then the side human. I'm the side human.
Yeah, you're the alternate.
Yeah, I am the alternate human. Yeah, I think the best advice I think that I could ever give to a newbie is freaking join a community.
Yeah.
I
right now, speak in chat, ask questions. If you see, there's streams, there's all, on YouTube and on Twitch. Remember, don't be afraid of Twitch. We love Twitch. But and at any time of day or night too. There's all sorts of things.
To Twitch.
Yeah, and get to know people. And if you're not sure who someone is, probably just ask me. I seem to have like, I am okay.
Liz,
I will,
your
I'm gonna
memory.
I'm gonna give myself some credit. First of all, I am my father's daughter. My father remembers like what he ate for like, well, he did remember. My dad's family, they all remember like what they ate for supper, like on, June 12th, 1978. Um, or whatever. So there's that part of the probably some sort of form of neurodivergence. But the other thing is I'm from a small town, a town
Mhm.
of less than like 3,000 people. Everybody knew everyone. And if you didn't, you found out
Right.
because that's just the way it is. So the same sort of thing is that's the same sort of thing when it comes to a smaller community.
Yep.
I absorb this information and I even know how Victoria got her name and all those sorts of things. Yeah, if you put
I
me on the
kind of want to
spot, I
see
might
like
not.
what you know about me, but
Like,
I'm worried you know a lot about me.
oh, I mean, I could give the basics. Obviously, you're a Florida man. You have a twin brother. Um, I think your mom is Cuban.
Yep.
Your dad is a professor.
No,
Um,
administrator,
no, oh,
college
administrator.
administrator.
Sorry, but he does. Yeah, he works in education.
Yes.
So there you go. Um, you obviously everyone knows you hurt your back, and that sort of pushed you into this side of the business. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things. You'd like to 3D scan people.
I just got another scanner.
You have wonderful Amber in your life,
I do.
and she's like yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I could probably say something about half the people in chat here.
Bunker Shop says
I
we're
don't
in
know.
Florida. I'm just north of Tampa. Also, that's for you because you have a micro center opening up near you, and I'm mad about that. But I have family in Miami, so Bunker Shop, if you want, keep in touch. And when we go down to Miami to visit family, I think the next time I go down to Miami, I'm visiting family, I'm visiting Wham Bam, and I'm gonna be visiting Fabrico. Because Hector said, dude, we could have so much fun. I'm like,
Oh, that would be
don't
cool.
do not threaten me with a good
Yeah.
time. But yeah, I got family down in Miami, so yeah.
Grant's Auto
reach out.
Essentials. Where's Grant's Auto Essentials from? Do you know?
No.
Because they said always asking who's your parents. Because where I'm from, it's who's your father. And I always thought like I did politics when I was a kid. I was like a big nerd. And I was going door to door for a candidate. And this person opened the door, was like, who's your father? And I thought that's kind of sexist. But I realized what it is they want to know. They actually want to know your heritage. They want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So and for me, I would always actually say who my mom was because my mom was the one that was my dad was a come from away in the Maritimes. If you're not from there, you come from away. So I would always say who my mom is and where she worked and you're his daughter, da, 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 da. So it was always, but that's just the way it is. And yeah, I am still a small town girl in a lot, and that's 3D printing.
But are you living in a lonely world? And did you take a midnight train going anywhere?
No, but I am a basement dweller.
I don't understand how someone could take a midnight train going anywhere. You know what that is? That's how you end up being trafficked. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
That song is just advice on how to get trafficked.
But don't stop believing. Right?
In
Hold
what?
on to that feeling.
The feeling? Of
Hi,
what? Streetlights and people? Now I'm confused.
It doesn't mean street walking. It just means there's street lights. Because if you're from a small town, you might not have street lights.
Well, so he says,
you only have
to
porch
that feeling,
lights.
and then
and
it goes
then
street
the
lights
old
and people.
biddy stares at you and says, "Where's she going this time of night?" That's where I'm from. Yes. Long live the basement dwellers. Exactly. Yeah, there's one person in 3D printing that keeps on calling people who like criticizing basement dwellers. I'm like, I actually live in a basement.
Dude, so huge thank you to Zach and Brooke Friedman, but we stayed with them a little bit after Rocky Mountain, and basements are amazing. Oh my god, basements are amazing. Yeah.
So is Gridfinity. Gridfinity is
he
amazing.
Was so excited over that piece that you gave him. He was so excited.
The crown is available on Thangs. Fix'em Dude designed the crown, and then this was the Pezfinity was a collaboration with K2 Kevin because I as I go into Tinkercad and I just, you should see how many changes I make, and it really frustrates. So this was definitely a collab.
Yeah, actually, I just
Yeah.
Liz was saying that I like to scan people. I'm just remembered I got confirmation this morning we are scanning the Bucks next week. Well, on the 10th.
Oh, okay.
So we're scanning. I think this is year 3 or year 4 in a row we scan the Bucks. So that's gonna be fun. I don't really care for football, and
The
that's
Buccaneers. For
yeah.
people who thought he said butts, because I think
Tampa
some
Bay
people might have
Buccaneers, the football, the American
Buccaneers.
football team. That
Yes.
is Tom Brady still playing for them? I honestly
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I don't
He
think so. I
was,
think
and I've
he
met him.
retire. I don't know. I just know that they do like crazy pirate things, and
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got cannons and
that's a thing.
yeah. So
Thank you, Mad Cat. Yeah, this
mean-
Pezfinity was in Zach's videos. That was pretty cool because then it was like 3D Printy, who is another like angel in
Joe
in
is
3D
so
printing world.
awesome.
And he has the nicest, kindest smile too, which no one really gets to see.
Does.
But yes,
He is the nicest person I've ever met. Like, he's just unreasonable. Like, I'm worried that there's like just some skeletons and he's just like no, Joe is such a nice guy.
No.
Same
with Fix'em, dude.
Community.
Yeah, we do. We have really interesting people, and like, you're saying that you basically travel the world with some people that are part of your Discord.
Yeah.
And same with Wexer's Discord. We travel the world with people, and you learn a lot too. I think what's really interesting is like 3D printing is, for some people it's part of their career. For most people it's their hobby, but it's like all the other things that we learn in between. Like I can't go to an event without bringing coffee crisp and now Big Turk, and then all dressed chips and ketchup chips and like, those sorts of things. The next one is I actually have to bring cans of maple syrup. Like when obviously we have a huge production of maple syrup in Quebec. And so when you go to the grocery store, you have your glass bottle of maple syrup. And then when you want to refill it, you buy a can. So this has become a thing now. So I am bringing at least one for local maker and one for Tech Jeeper, a can of maple syrup. So, because they were like, I can't believe that that's something you do, but it's neat. And you'll learn about the laws in different countries and, the rules. And I think with 3D printing, we've all learned about,
it's awesome.
We've exhausted the talk about guns. We've also exhausted the conversation about IP and all those sorts of things. So it's like, it's interesting though, but what we actually learn about each other. And
it's awesome.
And the equalizer is that, we're all just,
we all like
cool
making
things
stuff
out of plastic.
Statistically
we like
weird stuff, but we like making stuff.
Yeah.
Practical Printing says some people call him a space cowboy, some call him a gangster of scan. Most people, they call me Maurice, but I can't do the whistle. I'm sorry. Is that a song that you get, Liz? It might not be a song. Okay. It's a song reference. I'm pretty sure it's the Joker. Yes. But I own the album and I'm trying to think of who makes it. I don't know off the top of my head. Anyways, I know that album well because it has a skip in it and it bothers me that it has a skip. Anyways.
Tom Petty? I can't remember.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know who it is. Now I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah. Steve Miller Band. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Steve Miller. There we go.
Is it Steve Miller? Okay. Yep. Yeah. It is Steve Miller Band. All right.
I'm always going to get in trouble for like.
I had to Google it. I said, because I can't get this wrong.
The Joker.
I can't get this wrong. It is the Joker.
I don't like being wrong. So let's just erase that. Yeah.
Wait, if we clap, it gets edited out, I think, right?
Yeah, that's the way it works, right? I will always admit when I'm wrong. You just got to live your life not being right all the time. It's tough.
Life is interesting. Life is interesting sometimes. I've thoroughly enjoyed this community because like Matt Stoltz runs a Friday Maker Call, and that is like personal therapy for me. Right? I love going there and just honestly, just seeing what the hell 3D printing has thought up in the last 7 days. Um, yeah, it's, dude, just become a part of a community. It can cost you nothing or can cost you a very small amount, but becoming part of a community is truly awesome. I'm being tagged. Hold on. F3DPF says, so I joined the Discord, paid the $10, but put in the wrong email. Just email me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's still a small enough space that these things can, and also if you find that you are in an unfriendly space,
get out. Find
get
another
out,
one.
move on. Like you will find, sometimes you find out the hard way, sometimes, and also if someone tells you not to talk to someone or, use your own judgment because it's just strange. There's a lot of personalities in the space. And
Yeah.
one thing Royal Nomi always says, I think what is it? You don't always have to like everyone, but you need to be respectful. The other thing she says is if you go into someone's stream or you watch one of their videos and you don't like it, always give them a second chance because it could have been a weird day. It might not be subject matter that you're interested in, but there are a lot of people that have a wealth of knowledge that they can share with you.
Yep.
And I'm always fascinated by that. I always get excited to see new people and also, yeah, like I said, go back and look at old videos or look at other old models, whatever it is. It's really interesting. And the other piece of advice is respect history. People don't even know what rep rap means. A lot of people don't. They're like, you're going to a riff raff festival. I'm like, no, those are the people that go to the events. The event is rep rap. Yeah, do a little research, respect the history. If someone said that they've been in the industry for X amount of years, they probably have been through, having a wooden 3D printer and having to print the parts for it or whatever else. But just because I have these pretty bamboos and nice little Prusa that I have to repair and stuff, there are people that have had to do they've had, listen, my first printer was a Focus and I had to put the glass plate in the freezer. I had, for adhesion issues, but people have been through all those sorts of things and everything old is new again, including problems with prints.
That never goes away. Having problems with prints is okay. It's totally normal. I still have them. I've been printing for 16 years now. Yeah, 16 years. I still have problems printing. It's okay. Having a little bit of patience, not allowing the people, and this is like advice that I should take myself, but I don't. I'm much better at giving it than taking it. But don't allow the haters under your skin, right? If there are people saying, Google it, F you. I don't know what to Google. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Just help me so that I can help others. We do a series called Print Fix Friday for a reason. How many episodes am I deep on this? I don't know. Let me check. 141 weeks. I have not missed a week. 141 weeks of looking at print failures and how to fix them. And I'm not always right. That's half the fun for me, is sometimes I get corrected. And that is awesome. It is awesome to get corrected because it means that there are other people that are checking you to make sure that you're right. And when they do correct me, I fix it in the next episode. That's part of what makes this industry amazing. Find the communities where you fit, and I think that you will have a much better ride on the roller coaster that is 3D printing. Any other advice, Liz?
Make it fun. No matter what, like I said, there's some days where it's not fun, and just take a breather and realize that it is fun and find something new to work on. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And don't hesitate to try new things. I was like PLA, and now this year I'm experimenting with everything that I can push through a printer and more. I started painting, doing some post-production on models and stuff. And always, and learning more about using supports. I will not be doing resin. I don't have the space for it, and resin is toxic. But
Resin is
yeah,
toxic. That's right. Honestly, if
it
you're a
is an
newbie, just don't.
adventure.
Yeah, if you're a newbie, don't start with resin unless you are really just trying to do like miniatures. But please understand the PPE freaking associated with it. Yeah, it's start with FDM, start with PLA. It's incredibly forgiving. Yeah. Yeah. Start there. Then go to PETG. If you have a machine that's enclosed, you can go to ABS and ASA. Just go to ASA. Don't bother with ABS. ASA is just
I like both.
better. I
mix
know that
them
there are more
sometimes.
colors for ABS, but the weird uncle of ASA is just, there is no reason to use ABS when
This is a
ASA
mix.
exists.
I mix them.
That's fine. They'll stick together. They're both styrene based.
Yes.
There's just no
Bamboo
butylene.
tools
So
available
ASA
on
smells
Maker
less.
World. Grant, you can download this and put it in the cloud and print it on your printer.
No. I'd go to prison. I'm not going to do that. Mind
Prison
your data.
Grant, not yeah.
I have no chance
Grant.
in prison. Like, just not even close. Not even gonna try it.
You have
Not
enough
even
haters
once.
here.
Prison is like meth.
Bullies
Not
and
even
haters
once.
online.
Huh?
That'd be pretty bad. You have enough bullies and haters online sometimes. You know.
You know what?
Protect Grant at all costs.
You know, maybe I'm worth protecting. Maybe I'm not. Liz, you are worth protecting. Your memory's at least valuable. Look. If I wasn't good at talking, I don't know how much value I even bring to this show. Your memory's got a ton of value. So, don't forget that. You have value, and you out there watching, you have value too. I understand that life can be a little tough. I understand that shit can be a little bit difficult. We get it, we feel it, we understand it. We all have our own challenges, both internal and external, that we deal with. Sometimes in fighting, knowing how to take a punch is as, if not more important, than knowing how to throw one. So It's not always about fighting back. It's about understanding that life is going to throw you curveballs, and you got to make sure that you're ready for them. You know, and if you're not, that's okay. That's okay. Take your time. It's okay. Florida man arrested for printing a model from Bamboo World. I don't think that downloading from Maker World would be an issue, but connecting my printer would be.
Yes. Yeah, printing direct from the cloud. Yeah.
And then Krusty just keeps putting in song references, which is just phenomenal. JPC guy 89 says, I swear they're speaking straight to me after what I went through the other night. Yep. Might be. And if it feels like we're speaking to you, take some to heart. I know it's a little sour, but it's good. It's good. Don't worry. Oh no, always fight for a cause worth fighting for. I thought we're supposed to fight for the right to party. Crap. I think
that's in a couple weeks. That Murph. Anyone that's going to Murph, Murph is going to be the wild Midwest. So if you are going, I will be there, and it's gonna be fun. Sorry, Grant's not going to be there because I wanted to see that. I wanted to dance. I'll still dance. I'll dance by myself.
If you will be at East Coast
on my own.
If you will be at East Coast, Liz, I will happily have a dance with you.
There we go.
Yeah, we're not going to Murph, and unfortunately, we're not going to Open Sauce. The money for both of those, I'd rather put to Smurf, and similar to a lot of issues, like we are financially locked at the moment. We don't have financial sponsors. But
it's working within what you can do, and that includes what printer you have, what materials you're using, all of that. So
Yep.
It's all about balance.
It is, and sometimes, well, even your prints can get knocked over, so sometimes your printers aren't balanced either. That's okay. That is okay. JPC guy, just refresh. Anyways, I think we're good. I think it's a good place to call it, don't you, Liz?
Yeah.
Liz, thanks for hanging. Thanks for chatting. You are always welcome to come and hang out here. And since you were at Rocky Mountain, what was your favorite project at Rocky Mountain?
Ooh. I mean, I am
actually, I have that on
biased.
recording. I know what your favorite one is because it's on recording.
Did you? Oh
We
wow.
recorded that that talk.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which I should probably post. I haven't posted that yet. Crap.
So I have like 6,000 now that I look back on Rocky Mountain.
Right.
But I would echo Ellie in because I'm friends with Zombie Hedgehog, and he actually finished a project, and I was so proud of him. But also Traxman was there, and Traxman, like those tool changers were super cool. I love the positron. There were so many. What was my other thing that I said from Rocky Mountain? I'm trying to remember. I mean,
I will check the recording. I haven't listened to it. I don't know how it sounds.
Yeah. I mean, I loved going over to Hue Forge and seeing the color pop. There were so many really, really neat projects. And the other thing that I really enjoyed was people came to our little table and they saw a lot of the we call them faceplant prints, but you know, when you even these earrings are faceplant prints.
Yeah.
And we were educating people on how to do that in whatever slicer they had and with the printers that they have, and like that this is something possible. So that was also a really neat part of that experience, was that there were a lot of people that had 3D printers but didn't know about all of the different things that they could do with them. So yeah. And the people. Always the people for me.
I mean, it is the people. There's quite a few. It's like, if you were at Rocky Mountain and you had a table and we didn't come and interview you, please email me. Actually, if all goes well, next week is the first of that, like, those people that it was one of the they have an open source AMS, basically, is what they did, and they wanted to come on the show. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's have fun. I am looking for podcast guests, so if you have a really cool product you want to show off, let's talk about it. But that is it. Liz, do you not sign us off?
I no.
Was it the same sign off I do on over 1,600 videos? Liz, it's the same sign off I have done on over 1,600 videos. I need a little help here. Come on, you can do it.
Call your loved ones.
That's almost.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, Liz.
I don't know.
I'm gonna chat. Stop giving her the answers.
I told you. Yeah. Oh, what are people saying? These people? What? I don't know.
Nathan was giving you the answer, kind of.
Oh, keep safe out there?
No, it's stay safe out there.
Stay safe out there.
What's the
Stay
next
away
line?
from resin. Oh,
No.
wait, sorry.
Don't forget to call your loved ones.
Don't forget to call actually, please don't forget to call your loved ones.
Don't
And also
forget
tell your friends that you love them and appreciate them, because life happens. So that's part of mine.
And as always, Liz, what's the name of the podcast, Liz?
Oh, stay awesome.
No, Liz,
be awesome.
Keep making awesome.
Keep making awesome.
Yes, it is stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. We're going to send you guys to Steve Builds. We're going to go right into Steve Builds. We'll see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.